In today's episode, we'll show you 10 tried and tested tricks which will speed up your gel styling work and ensure the final effect will be even more stunning. Hi, my name is Connie, and this is a channel dedicated to the art of nail styling. Today, we'll show you the gel manicure tricks every stylist should know. Let's have a look. The products and tools that we'll use in today's episode are a 100 to 180 grit file, a 100 to 180 buffer, gel polish in Pan Go, a cuticle nipper, acid-free primer, cleaner number 1, protein base, mineral base, very cool, whitening base, liquid base, tip top, wet look and super matte, Master Nail Art 004 brush, sheer super shine effect cleaner, a cuticle pusher, Indigo Cuticle number 9 bit, Indigo Cuticle number 3 bit, an e-file and lint-free pads. Regardless if you think you know everything there is to know about gel polish, or you're just taking your first steps into the world of gel polish styling, everybody should watch this episode from A to Z. It's filled with pro tips and even an advanced stylist may learn something new today. As always, we start by disinfecting the hands and making sure that there are no contraindications to the procedure. Then we move on to prepping the nail plate. We even out the free edge and buff the entire surface. When working with a natural plate, we should use files and buffers of 180 grit or higher. The more fragile the nail surface, the more delicate the file and buffer. We are using a 180 grit file and buffer. In order to check if all of the filed nails are the same shape, we twist our client's hands to face us and apply any corrections as needed. From this perspective, it's easier to spot a lack of symmetry or an issue with the shape of the free edge. Once the nail shape is correct, we move on to working on the cuticles. If we're dealing with cuticles strongly attached to the nail surface, we push them up with a cuticle pusher. We push just the nail fold, remembering not to scratch the nail surface with the tool. It's time for the e-file. We reach for the Indigo Cuticle number 9 bit and set the e-file speed to 10 to 15,000 RPM. We work the bit parallel to the cuticle with a push-sweep motion. We move across bit by bit. We lift the nail fold and remove any residue left on the natural plate. We dust off the surface once in a while using a soft brush to ensure we can see well if all the residue has been removed. We then switch to a more precise bit, for example, the Indigo Cuticle number 3 bit. We'll use it to open up the nail fold to be able to push the color underneath the cuticle. We continue working with 10 to 15,000 RPM speed. And now a tip that will help you clean out the space under the nail fold even better. This will be especially useful for our beginners. Finally, when cleaning out the space under the nail fold, we first work with the bit rotation set to one direction and moving from the left curve, bit by bit, we lift the fold and clean under it. Along the side walls, we don't push the bit under, but simply drag it flat along the wall. Now and again, we dust off the nail to ensure every bit of cuticle has been removed evenly. Then, we change the rotation direction, and starting from the other curve, we work the other way. To speed up our work in the salon, we first work on all 10 nails in one direction, and only then reverse the e-file rotation and move on to working all the 10 nails in the other direction. This ends up being much faster than if we were to do each nail in both directions individually. Once the cuticles are prepped, we move on to their removal, remembering to clean the blade every time. We clean the entire surface of the nails with a cleaner, also along the cuticles. We apply acid-free primer as if we were applying normal nail polish. Before applying the overlay, we will do the so-called base rub. We apply a tiny drop of the product to the middle of the plate. We reach for the Indigo 2-in-1 gel brush number 4 and rub it in. This way we create the foundation, which will guarantee we will not get any air pockets. If we were to start by applying a thick layer of product, air pockets would be almost unavoidable. We cure the rubbed-in layer for 30 seconds. Then we apply a thin slip layer across the entire length of the natural nail and secure the free edge. We pick up a bigger portion of the product and place it on the apex. We gently push the product towards the cuticles, but not so close that we could flood them. Then gently spread it across the whole nail. We flip the nail over and, if necessary, correct the upper arch. Before putting the hand into the lamp, we ensure the cuticles are not flooded, then cure for 30 seconds. We can do the overlay with a protein base, a mineral base, very cool, or white mint base. Remember that the more pigmented the base and the thicker the layer on the nail, the longer the curing time has to be. There is this other base, the liquid base. Now, as the name suggests, it's liquid, so not suitable for overlaying. However, it is very useful if you get a client with hormonal problems or one who's been failed by all other base coats. You can reach for the liquid base and do a very thin base rub, then apply another base which we'll use for the overlay, and ta-da! It may turn out that the air pocket problem goes away, never to come back. The next tip, which makes it easier to apply colour by the cuticles, is removing the dispersion layer before painting the nail. If left on the surface, it creates a slip layer for the colour, which makes it easier for the product to run and flood the cuticles. For our styling today, we're using the Pan Go shade from the Autumn range, All Shades of Me. We don't push the first layer of product all the way up to the cuticles, we leave around a 0.5 millimeter gap. We'll reach all the way up to the nail walls with the second coat. This way, when the nail starts growing out, we will avoid creating an ugly and very visible ridge between the painted surface and the natural nail. The transition will be gentle and smooth. We cure the first layer of colour for 30 seconds. Before applying the second coat, we gently push the nail fold up so that it's slightly raised away from the nail surface. This allows for an even deeper application of colour, which makes it seem as if the colour was growing out from underneath the fold. We start, like before, by painting the nail without getting too close to the cuticles. We secure the free edge and then pull the nail fold back with our thumb so it doesn't drop too quickly. Using the thin Master Nail Art 004 brush, we fill in the space by the cuticles with colour, then cure for 30 seconds. And now to present you with 3 different finishes of the same styling, we will use 3 different top coats and see how they differ from each other. The first one will be Tip Top, which has no dispersion layer. Once cured, we don't have to wipe it with the Sheer Super Shine Cleaner. We do, however, have to wait for the layer to cool down at least 60 seconds. We'll cover the next nail with a shiny gel wet look top coat. It has a dispersion layer, so we need to wipe it off with the Super Shine Cleaner. Just like with Tip Top, we need to wait for the layer to cool down for at least 60 seconds before we wipe off the sticky layer. To finish off, we polish the surface with a dry pad. The last top coat we'll use is the Super Matte. Once cured, it's worth wiping the surface with a cleaner, even though it doesn't have a dispersion layer. This procedure will deepen the matte effect on the nails. And that's the end of our Gel Polish Pro tips. Now tell us honestly, which one was news to you? Maybe one of them will be a total game changer, while some you've been using for a long time already. Let us know in those comments below. And remember, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for watching.